Yeah, Mythili. So we want to recount your journey over the last 7, 8 months that we've been together. And let's start with your 5 minute practice, Mythili.
Yeah, so I started at a time when I felt very down about myself, and I found that for a person like me who felt that everything was under control because I had just crossed 60, and I felt okay for a 60-year-old, why would these things matter? You will be able to deal everything yourself, but how wrong I was, and so many things that was there in me, it just sort of went down. I just couldn't bring it up. So I was depressed, and I was totally broken. And then, of course, I joined you. And though I have been, if you remember, recall, I've been commenting on your posts, and I've been seeing as somehow I think எல்லாருக்கும் ஒரு time சொல்லுவாள்ல. So I think I joined at the very right time. But from day one, from the first conversation that I had with you, one thing I decided that I will take everything with an open mind, number one. And number two, I'm not going to tell myself that this is not possible. I'm just going to go ahead doing it. Whatever is going to be possible, I'm going to start doing it. Secondly, I will see to it that I'll make it possible. That was my second stage. And thirdly, I did it. So this was the step I had decided to myself that I would find alternatives to do it. I will not have excuses not to do it, for my own well-being.
That's really amazing, Mythili, that you took that proactive step. First of all, recognizing and the self-awareness that I always mention about one of your strengths, Ilya, அது வந்து noticing that, hey, I'm struggling and I need to take action. So that was where we began. From there on, can you tell me, can you just go down that path and recall the skills that we learned? How are you doing today with those? எப்படி அது habit ஆயிடுதா உங்களுக்கு?
Yeah, so I still do the affirmations whenever I feel. I think we started off with affirmations and saying hi to each other, saying hi to ourselves in the mirror, and things like that. So I still feel they play such an important role in your life, because every single thing you need to first affirm to yourself that yes, you want it, and then you find a way to go about doing it. So that's how I decided my course of thing. Like I always used to tell you that if I feel that I'm not able to get something, I'll keep that as a core thing. Yes, I want this, but I'll find ways and means to. If I don't get a straight path, I'll take a roundabout thing, but I'll eventually get there. So this is what has happened to me now. Every single thing I followed it without a break. I saw to it that these are little things which are within my control. So I'm not going to find excuses not to do it. I do. And I find they become a part of your life. Involuntarily, I'll find myself affirming to myself that this is what, and it has happened. Today, my family is settled, and most importantly, I have developed a way to handle the family. So it's more important to me that I handle the family properly. I'm not bothered about what the family today thinks about the way I'm doing it. I'm happy. And I feel satisfied that the steps that I've taken has made me closer to them.
Wow.
So
the பெரிய goal இல்லையா உங்களுக்கு மைதிலி, even when we started, that you wanted to be in that happy space, very calm, peaceful, knowing what you are doing is right, and some things that are under your control, அது ரொம்ப important. So affirmation, saying hi in the mirror, they are going on, right? And especially during low moments, you are able to use that to pick yourselves up. Is that right, Mythili?
Because I feel that it can be anything. Earlier, it was like I told you that I want to be as a homemaker. I wanted to develop a relationship thing with my people and all that stuff. But now, for every single thing, I say, look, I want this, so let me do this. So that's the kind of thing I affirm to myself that yes, if I want something, basically because I'm a person who's at home 70%. I'm for all practical purposes a homemaker. So when I'm at home 70%, then the entire thing, when it falls on me, then I need to keep myself in a proper a space where I will be able to deal with other things at home. So that is the reason why I created spaces for myself, and that is the reason why I created systems at home. the prevalent systems நான் வந்து இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் அதை tighten பண்ணேன். And when I did that, I realized that I had more time to myself. Yeah.
So especially on the domestic help or support எடுத்துக்கிறது, right? Creating that structure and system for meal planning and prepping. Those were one of the first skills that we took on after the 5-minute action. And that was a game changer for you. That really freed up a lot of your mental space, gave you a lot of clarity, and freed up a lot of time also. So on the resources, நம்ம சொல்றது energy, time, space, all of that. So அதுக்கப்புறம் I think we also worked on cravings, binge eating. இந்த skills எல்லாமும் we took on early, right? So how are they going for you, Mythili?
They're going on very well. In fact, I still have chocolates in the fridge, but I've not eaten it.
Wow.
I just kept it. I somehow, sometimes I feel, first things first, I first did away with everything that gave me a kind of a craving to go and have it. Then secondly, what I said that this is not, I thought to myself, this is not the way you should do. It should be there and you should take it at a time when you want to, when you feel like it, a couple of it, it's not wrong. Because somewhere down the line, being with you, I understood that why do you have to do away with things? Just keep it there. When you feel like it, you have one piece of it and your entire thing is sorted out. Number two, whenever I decided that, remember I told you instances where I said I'll not go and open the fridge. I'll ask my mates to do it. So they will, I'll tell them, okay, fridge, and then if I feel like eating something sweet, I always have raisins in the fridge. I have prunes in the fridge. So I tell them, okay, get me 2 prunes and 5 drasha, that's it. And that would do. So when you go to the fridge, then you have this temptation to eat more because there's so much there in the fridge, right? So these are the little things which I did. It worked. For me, it worked. For me, it sort of created a distance between eating too much and not eating at all. It created a distance. I would say it brought it closer because I knew when I wanted to eat and when I didn't want to. So binge eating was something which really, this kind of little things really solved my binge eating thing. And then I realized that, and once my mind started getting to feel better, that binge eating thing just disappeared. I mean, it can be there parked somewhere, but I'm able to address it now.
This is really a huge transformation, Mythili, because you came from that space of restriction. இது பண்ணக்கூடாது, avoid பண்ணணும், I should shape my environment and keep things awayன்ற மாதிரி தான் first ஆரம்பிச்சோம். But then slowly you started building those skills, of saying, hey, you know what, maybe there is nothing wrong in allowing myself to have, but I need to practice moderation. And the way you practice moderation is by pausing before you actually reach out. அது நம்ம பண்ணினோம். ஃப்ரிட்ஜ்ல நீங்க எழுதி ஒட்டினீங்க, ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? பாஸ்ன்ற ஒரு இது.
So I did that. Now I don't have it. Now I don't have it because I feel I won't be dependent on that. I'll still do it myself. And I still
super. See, that's a crutch, right? When you're initially building a habit, we need some kind of a crutch to hold on to. And then once it becomes a habit, you don't need it anymore. It becomes like autopilot. So, and the amazing strategy of getting your domestic help to get the stuff from the fridge is really super, Mythili, because you created that friction towards that habit. Creating the distance that you talk about. And
also, I used to walk away. I used to remember I told you that whenever I felt like doing, I'll walk away to another room, be in the room for 10 minutes doing something. என்னவோ வேகா பண்ணிட்டு இருப்பேன் நான் அந்த ரூம்ல, but that feeling will pass. This may sound silly to some people, but it has worked for me, right? So I'm happy that I chose these little simple things that I don't have to really feel bad about. And when I came back from one room to back to the kitchen, that thought would have passed and I will not eat anything.
That's really fabulous, Mythili. That is changing the environment, right? When you pause, you recognize your craving and you understand that staying in that environment any longer is only going to make you binge eat. So you shift yourself from that environment to another environment where you're distracting yourself. And you're sitting with the discomfort of that thought. That thought has not gone away. It's still there. But you're trying to manage it and then you realize it's temporary. It just actually vanishes after a while.
Very true.
So long as you're able to handle that discomfort, it actually passes. Brilliant work, Mythili. So today you're having a nice balance between whatever foods that you eat and your favorite foods. You're still able to manage all of that, being very flexible with yourself. And most importantly, being very mindful and understanding the need, the purpose. எப்ப உங்களுக்கு வேணும் எப்ப வேண்டாம், and you are the boss. The food is no longer the boss, right, Mythili?
Yeah.
How does it feel to get to that space?
Pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty good, maybe an understatement. I feel elated about it because now I find ways and means of eating good food, healthy food, and food that will, satisfy my cravings as well. Like I told you, I'll keep innovating, making things different panni potu and all that stuff. So, apdi pannana, it eventually gives me a satisfaction. Okay, I ate whatever I want to. Like yesterday, I made cauliflower almond soup. So the cauliflower almond soup can be made a couple of ways. You crush the almonds with milk and all that. But yesterday in Anna Panena, I used almond milk and almonds, together. So I probably gave a healthier version than just milk. Of course, between the almond milk and the almond milk, the taste will be different, but then I guess it's okay. So cauliflower the plain cauliflower just boil panni like I told you, I made the soup masala. See, the soup masala gives such a good flavor. So I don't have to go to anything for that. And the one spoon of that masala and my soup becomes very flavored.
Wow. Hey, you have to share the recipe, Mythili, on the soup masala.
In fact, you'll find the difference yourself when you put just one spoon of it in the soup masala. And then I have found ways. I don't use butter at all. I use ghee. All the ghee that I prepare at home. So I know that it's prepared organically at home. So and the ghee that I will use for the soup gives you such good flavor. What more do you want? I mean, for people like me who is like 100% vegetarian, I don't even eat eggs. I don't eat anything to do with those kind of things. I find ways and means. I found alternatives to eat the protein that I have to. Same is the case with the protein powder that I have started after our sessions. I've started drinking. I found I used to take the protein powder at 3 o'clock in the afternoon earlier. Remember, I still have 3 o'clock. But sometimes when I have my lunch late, so on the 3 o'clock, my stomach is full and just not healthy. So what I did, I've shifted it to 10:30 in the morning. After breakfast, between breakfast and lunch, and the time that 4 hours or 4.5 hours, I have my glass of protein at that time. So I don't have to eat anything solid between my breakfast and lunch. This is working very well, in fact. So I don't miss out on my protein. But yes, I change it. When I have Zumba classes, I change it to the evening. Accordingly, I will shift up the lunch timing and all that. Breakfast, I'll eat a little less, then lunch I will shift up. So all these kind of adjustments within ourselves, see, that has become very important to me now. So yeah.
So first up, what you shared was about, I mean, you're an amazing cook, Mythili, and you love eating fantastic food, right? For you, taste is very important. Chumma for the sake of weight loss or whatever, health, you'll not just guzzle up something, right? So the way you creatively made your regular recipes a little bit better. Yes. Just simply amazing the way you've kind of made and protecting or making or enhancing the taste of the food. Yes. Right? Yes. That was very important to you. So that's where your creative skills came in handy. And of course, talking about nutrition, those were one of the earlier skills that we took on, adding protein to your meals, especially being a vegetarian. It had to be a conscious choice, right? Understanding where your protein is coming from in your meals, and that improved your meal satisfaction as well as the satiety. And what I hear from you when you say you've kind of been able to shift around your meal timings and your meal choices, it must be so freeing, illa Mythili. Usually நம்ம வந்து restrictions or rules இப்படிதான் இருக்கணும் அப்படிதான் இருக்கணும்ன்றதோட ஒரு flexible eating plan where you are empowered to make those choices. எப்படி இருக்கு அந்த feeling?
It's a feeling that you are in complete control of yourself. See, that is the most important thing. One has to be in complete control of oneself. You may falter sometimes because you're only human, but most of the times you take complete control of yourself. When you do that, the time or how you eat doesn't matter. What you eat at what time is what matters. So, for example, like I told you, when I have a Zumba class and I feel that 3 o'clock protein time is not working for me, so within me, I will keep adjusting my meal times in such a way, because I am anyway up at 4:30 in the morning. So when that happens, I know I'll have breakfast a little early, say 6:30 in the morning. Then my meal, my 11 o'clock, my lunch comes to around 11:30. Then I know 3:30, 3:45, my stomach is empty because I won't have anything in between. If at all I'm really, really, really hungry, I just have half a cup of black coffee without sugar. So yeah, so these are the little adjustments up down that we have to do, because see, when you also know I travel a lot. So when you travel, then yes, the whole thing changes. You have to have breakfast because you are on the move. Then you have lunch. But I see to it that we go to a restaurant where variety is not available. I will just have to stick to a dosa or something with chana or something like that, or we go to Woodlands where I can just order one chapati and paneer for my protein. See, this is the conscious thing that we decide among us. Fortunately for me, my husband is also not a great fan of five-star hotels. So we just take very simple restaurants for lunch so that, the eating is also like limited.
That's again fantastic strategy there. The more the variety, the more you end up eating actually. Adlalada buffets are very hard. You just go there and it's like பயங்கர spread of food and you don't know what to eat, what not to eat, and the thala suttum. So great idea there, Mythili. Thanks for sharing that. So nutrition wise, you're doing very good. அது ஒரு habit ஆயிடுது இல்லையா? The meal plating skills, meal planning, prepping. Your mind is always looking at colors. What are you plating? Ilya Mythili, idella habit ஆயிடுது. Okay, so let's talk about your mindset shifts, Mythili. Right from the beginning to now, what are the little shifts that you're noticing in your mindset that has been helping you stay consistent?
Basically, that I was very rigid about certain issues, which I felt that, இது இப்படிதான் இப்படி நடந்தாதான் கரெக்டா இருக்கும், இது இப்படிதான் அப்ரோச் பண்ணணும். For example, like I told you, relationship with my daughter or with my husband or even with a couple of friends. Like I must share with you, one of my friends, this is the biggest compliment I received, and I have to give half of it to you. She said, நீ எப்பல இருந்து இவ்வளோ பேஷண்டா நீ வந்து இப்படி ஹேண்டில் பண்றேன்னு. I said, aha, yes, now I know I have changed, because I said, knowing you would have probably flared up with questions like this and people acting up like this towards you. I said, I've learned to just laugh at them, and I called up that friend of mine and said, I have to tell you this, I just have to laugh it out. And she said, is that really you? So that's when I realized that I think I have really made strides in this, because I actually started empathizing with people who behave like that, sorry for them. I don't know if I'm right feeling that way, but I don't want to create an impression where I feel, oh, I'm the greatest or something. But for my own mental unit, where I was just, blowing up for little things. Now I feel happy that, I feel, okay, Pavam, this is what they know. It's okay. And I put forth so once, see, that is a major shift for me, Srividya. Definitely, yes, because though I am a very flexible person in many ways I'll be very rigid about it, about my approach, about my thinking. But now I feel that there's nothing. As long as I don't compromise on my values and principles, it's okay with me not to be rigid. So this is something that
wow, that's so huge.
I will never compromise
practice.
Yes. I will
the
never
skill of pausing, Ilya. And the pausing has really, sorry to interrupt, you were saying you will never compromise on your values.
On my values and principles, I have never compromised. I will never compromise. But I have understood that these are my values and these are my principles. So it will stay with me. So if you ask me, then this is the way I will behave. You're free to do whatever you want. So this is what I would say. Those times I would say, அதெல்லாம் கிடையாது, இது இப்படிதான் இருக்கணும், you know this, you know that, and சொல்லிட்டு now I don't get into all that.
So the skills that we started off in the beginning to regulate your emotions, try to understand situations first of all, what is the challenge here, how to respond versus react, idella have really helped you, Ilya Mythili. And the other thing is being flexible with yourself. I think moving away from that restrictive mindset, இப்படிதான் இருக்கணும் அப்படிதான் இருக்கணும்னா, okay, why இப்படிதான் இருக்கணும், is that helping me? Again, focusing on your mental and emotional sanity. And let's talk about other shifts that you have noticed, Mythili, in terms of mindset traps in the all or nothing thinking, showing perfectionism, being very rigid. அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து limiting beliefs, இதனால முடியுமா, I know I have this goal, but is it possible for me to achieve, and the self doubts, இதெல்லாம் procrastination, again தள்ளி போடுறது வேண்டாம், and the resistance, how to overcome resistance, இதெல்லாம் நிறைய you have faced in the initial stages when we worked, right? So can you talk a little bit about those shifts, Mythili?
Firstly, like I said, I decided to myself that there's nothing that I would say that it's not going to be possible. See, I have entered into one session with somebody, and if that somebody is going to guide me in a path which is good for me, then I might as well take it. I have to work myself around it to see that I at least reach a place where I am happy. That's the first thing I decided to myself. So it was not very difficult for me to tackle situations, and though the end result would take me 2 weeks, 3 weeks to do it, but I would still be happy that I have reached that stage where I have found a solution in my own way without ruffling anybody's feathers. Okay, this was one win for me, because I'm one person who can be very upright, and just possibly, the words will just flow and probably it will hurt the person. But then I decided to myself that I won't say unless asked. No free advices, no free opinions, nothing. Just listen. So the art of listening became so very important to me at any point in time. Toastmasters helped a lot in developing this, because Toastmasters teaches you the art of listening. It sort of stresses the importance of the art of listening, and it also played a role in bringing that to the fore. So when I developed this art of listening, I thought to myself, most of the times I wouldn't even reply. So that helped. I felt it was not necessary for me to comment. It's not necessary that you have to say your 2 pence all the time. You just have to keep quiet. But I also decided to myself that when somebody pushes me into giving me an opinion, then I will only give the right one that I feel, and in a tone that would not offend them. But that is something which I have mastered now. I would mastered in the sense I'm still learning, but I have got to control that. Because these are things which people used to tell me that நீ பேசுறதெல்லாம் வந்து ரொம்ப அப்படி மூஞ்சில அடிச்ச மாதிரி நீ பேசுறன்னு. Today I can still be that மூஞ்சில அடிச்ச மாதிரி kind, but my tone will be very, very, so the person will be left wondering whether am I really நான் நல்லத்தனமா சொல்றேன்னா இல்ல வந்து அவளை ஹர்ட் பண்றேனாங்கிறது. But that's okay with me. I mean, that decision you take, but coming from me it will be different. So this is one thing that I said. Then thirdly, about the food, mindsets in food. Sometimes I felt the biggest challenge was exercises, because I was traveling. So what I felt, it's okay. You are not able to exercise. No, there would be times I will fret and fume. You mudile. But I said, exercise mudile, okay, I'll eat what I have to eat. That something that was within my control. Eating mindfully was definitely within my control. So I practiced that. That is something I have practiced 100%. If I'm not able to exercise, then all those days where I'm not able to exercise, I at least keep mindful. That has given me a lot of confidence about the fact that, I don't have to fret and fume about things that's not within my control. Fourthly, I told you about my daughter back and forth Bangalore, and she's now handling business in Bangalore, and then she keeps coming back and all that, the situation at home and all that. Now she is happy, I am happy, because I don't even probe. She herself calls me, she herself tells me everything. I said, good, that's very good. So now things have come down at home. My maids have understood very clearly that they cannot disturb me at all times. So the moment that's a time set, the moment they come in at 9, they should have their coffee, come back and meet me and get whatever they have to do for the day. Unless absolutely unless absolutely urgent, they will not disturb me. So they're trying to follow that. So that way, even if I'm not doing anything, they realize I know I'm at peace to do whatever I want to. It was not there. So all
Wow.
this put together, I find that I have more time for myself. And I find that whether I do something or not do something, I'm at peace.
Huge shifts in mindset, Mythili, especially in terms of learning to listen, pause, understand how you should respond instead of reacting. Really working on that tone, putting your opinion across very politely. That has been a huge change, and that compliment is really amazing, Mythili. Came at the right time, I think, just when we are about to graduate, Ilya.
It came at the very right time. Very thankful to her for having said that, because probably she knows me well that way. And another very nice thing that happened is, I felt very good about it. I have been invited as a judge for various competitions and all that. That has been happening all the time. But for the first time in my life, I was invited as a chief guest for a school event, and giving prizes. So that made me feel very happy that, things come at the right time. So I was very happy with it. It may feel very small, but I felt so happy that somebody felt it fit to call me as a chief guest for a school function where there are so many other more accomplished people around, And
Wow, that really says, about how much you have accomplished. And, in the sense, people see you that way as somebody who's really empowered, who can create that impression in young minds. That really is a feather on your cap, Mythili. Congratulations.
Thank you, Shividya. So now I feel that, okay, whatever may be the accomplishments, otherwise, academically or otherwise, it's how you strike across to somebody is what matters,
Absolutely. So shifts in mindset na pataka, moving away from perfectionism, showing up imperfectly, allowing yourself to take breaks. There are so many things that are beyond our control, and there's only so much you can do. And in those circumstances, taking a pause and understanding what is under my control, and you are able to unravel that mindful eating is absolutely under your control, which you did very, very well, right? Especially travel bodella panna mudiyada exercise, but at least, hey, I can eat mindfully, right? And third important thing is learning to handle your domestic help, drawing boundaries, saying no. Again, protecting, taking care of yourself, taking care of your mental and emotional sanity, which was very important to you, Mythili. Right?
In fact, drawing boundaries have extended to the family also. If something happens, like for example, I'll tell you, my husband wanted to invite somebody over to be taken to the doctor. I very clearly said he wanted to invite them on Monday night and then take them on Tuesday. I said, Tuesday I have an aura meeting. I cannot come. Then 13th we are going out of town. So please make it next week. So these are the things I could have never done earlier. I would have possibly taken everything on my head and then also feel very bad about it because I wasn't able to do anything that I wanted. But today I tell them very clearly, and I think they also understand, or probably, they pretend that they understand because they can't do anything about it. Whichever way is okay with me.
This is huge, Mythili, definitely, because it's not easy to handle, our own family. We try to compromise ourselves to make things happen for the family. And the way you've been able to, again, this comes to the fact that you want to prioritize yourself. I think this entire journey has been about that, Mythili.
Absolutely.
Right? Somewhere we give too much of ourselves, and then we see, hey, what did I just do? My cup is running empty. How can I give now? Right? Yeah. So I think signing up for this transformation for yourself was all about that, taking care of yourself from all of the different domains that you're caught in, deep health domains, and really putting forth proactive steps towards that. So okay, so we talked about your eating habits, nutrition, exercise. How can you talk a little bit about how that has become a part of you, Mythili?
So I've been doing Zumba for the last 12 years, and I find it has agreed with me very well. And now I have started doing the strength training. Now that I have a trainer coming home, I've set that for myself. I've started slowly doing, because I have this pain with my hand. So I have started slowly doing all the, I sort of, this trainer has combined Pilates and stretching and a little bit of weightlifting. Says we'll do weightlifting slowly so that, my hands get strengthened before I start lifting heavy weights. So that is on now. That is there 3 times a week. 3 times a week for 45 minutes. So this is there. I will slowly increase it for about 1 hour, 1 hour once I feel comfortable with that. But Zumba is there twice a week. And if Zumba gets cancelled, then I go for a 5 kilometer walk. This is doable with me. This is possible for me.
So you found a consistency that works for you now, right? And a structure for your movement and your Zumba and your strength training. But this was not the case initially, Mythili. You had a lot of trouble incorporating strength training. You remember or a couple of weeks ஆச்சு at least எனக்கு பண்ண முடியல ஏதோ something, especially the guests were showing up, right? Weekend ஆனா the guests were showing up. எப்படி பண்றது என்ன? So can you share how you navigated that challenge?
Okay. So I realized that my choosing strength training to do on a Saturday was not working out, because in the ALB I used to have guests on during the weekend. So I shifted it to a weekday. Weekday 10:30 was a good time for me to do it, because invariably on weekdays nobody turns up. So that is how I started. Number two, for me to necessarily do it and not find excuses. And like I said earlier, I will get into my gym clothes after after coming out of my bath. And so wearing gym clothes means you have to necessarily do it. And this is how I actually felt it worked for me. I said, okay, fine. Now that I've worn the gym clothes, I've got to do it. This is how it all started. Funny it may seem, but it worked. It worked.
So shaping the environment, right? That's a very, very popular strategy, Mythili, to slip into your gym clothes or keep the shoes where you see this. All of these little reminders that we need initially as we begin to form it as a habit, right? And then once it's a habit, you don't need any of those cues.
I still do it. I still do it. I still wear my gym clothes.
So it's become a habit, right? It's become a habit for you.
Now. At home, when
Fantastic.
I have to do my strength training, I still wear my gym.
Awesome. So you began strength training when we began on this journey, right? So how did that feel, Mythili, to get into strength training, and how do you feel now?
I felt something good. I felt that I could do extra. Other than Zumba, I can still find time and inclination and time to do something extra for my own self. So yeah, I just sort of slipped into it. Even now, sometimes my strength training, walking, I'm able to do, because even if I go out of town, I can still find ways and means of walking. But the strength training gets very affected. If we stay in a hotel, then I try to go to the gym there and do some strength training at all. But otherwise, that's one thing that takes a hit when I'm traveling. But I guess I've decided that, okay, it happens. What can I do about it? Then I come back and I fall into a routine. So this is how I keep doing, and this is how I feel I have to do for it to keep going and not fret and fume that it's not happening.
So thanks for sharing that, Mythili. Another important skill that we have time and again practiced is how to get ourselves out of situations which are challenging, right? Or a break nadakum. Evlovo travel. Initially, evlovo travel was happening. Weddings were happening, right? Time and again, we practice the skill of how to build that resilience to get yourselves back on track. So how did you feel about that?
Difficult at first, because then you sort of, the routine is broken, because you're either traveling or guests at home, because you're not, like I told you, there'll be guests staying at home, they won't go out. So I have to sit and entertain them. So all these things, earlier I used to get very worked up, and probably, shared it with my husband also, that, this is the kind of thing. But then I thought to myself that you can't blame others for something that you're not able to do. So that's when I felt, whenever I'm able to do it, I will do it. Whenever I'm not able to do it, I'll still be on the move. So I always kept myself on the move. So I wasn't feeling very guilty. After that, I stopped feeling guilty. I said, okay, I'm able to do it. Here I am. Like I said, 70% of the time I'm at home. So that I can choose any time to go and do my strength training. And that is what I allowed myself to do. I fixed a
So the
time.
flexible mindset, இல்லையா அதுதான் ஹெல்ப் பண்ணிட்டு.
I will go at 3 o'clock. So 3 to 4 I will do, and then I'm free. So this is how I get two, three things. One is I had to really do a 180-degree mind shift. Okay. And that 180 degrees mind shift actually helped me in my overall behavior towards my own self, I must say first, and then towards other people. Like I said, I really started feeling sorry for people who felt indifferently or things like that, or empathize with people. Okay, excuse me. Empathize with people who had different ways of approach or aggressive approach or what.
So basically, having a flexible mindset helped you figure out what are the things that are under my control. Again, right? When a stressful situation comes or when people show up and they stay on for longer, somewhere you felt that you didn't have any control over the situation. Poch, avladhaan, I can't do அப்படின்னு அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு mindset. அதுலேருந்து you were able to step outside and say, hey, okay, this is something that I can't control. People are going to come. But that does not mean I have to give up on my goals. Is there another time slot where I can show up for myself, right? That really seems to have helped you a lot, Mythili. Fantastic work.
Actually, all those trouble-giving aspects, I have become very flexible. So I've let my mind to be very open on those things, because I felt when I have no control over these things, I might as well not worry about it at all. Just let it be. I'll know what to do after I get back to routine. That is something which has actually made me very calm and happy.
So on the leaning into resistance in சொல்லுவா இல்லையா, you know, and when you're finding there is some kind of a resistance, instead of moving away, just lean into it and find solutions for yourself, right? திருப்பி இல்லைன்னா கொஞ்சம் resist பண்ணிட்டே இருந்தோம்னா it's just going to be very, very hard, you know. Yeah, awesome. So let's talk about mindful eating skills and how they have helped you with your relationship with food, Mythili.
I'm a foodie, and like food na, I'm one person who loves all. I used to love all kinds of fried foods, and I used to food in general. Na, I love anything Indian. I'm more of a Indian food eater, and enga ponalo anything. Now, okay, fine, including Indian sweets, ellame, everything. I'm not much of a fan of continental food or those creamy cakes and all that. I'm not much of a fan. But Indian sweets, yes, gulab jamuns, jalebis, jangris, all that, yes. But earlier I used to abstain. It ran away, went down. Then I found that abstaining is not at all a solution. And that's something I learned after I joined you, and after having joined, like I mentioned before, that I had joined several these diet sessions, and losing weight sessions and all that stuff. Then at one point I realized that losing weight is not as important. It is important, yes, you have to maintain a particular thing, but not so important as much as it is for you to enjoy the food that you're eating, but in limited proportion, and the way you eat it, savor the food as to how you eat it, different kinds. So I started innovating, because I think cooking is my greatest strength. And I used to love cooking. I used to cook right from the age of 13. So and எனக்கு வந்து அந்த different kind of thing. Okay, today I have chana with me. So how do I make the chana more interesting? So that is something which I love doing. So when I do that, automatically my love for food is also accomplished. At the same time, I'm eating healthy. So this is one aspect of mind shift towards food happened. Secondly, I started incorporating a lot more vegetables than I used to earlier. Right? So I was only having green capsicums, green peppers. Then I introduced red, yellow into it. And then I started experimenting on several soups with different things. The other day I made ragi soup. You must be knowing. So when I made the ragi soup, I also incorporated a few vegetables in it. I put some carrots and I put some beans in it. So it gave you the vegetables as well as the protein part of it, because ragi, as you say, is very high on protein. So in the Madri, I'll keep on doing. So this is how I developed my relationship with food. And then, of course, I have bought myself cups, and I bought myself measuring cups. So 1 cup, now 1 cup or 2 cups of vegetables measured panni. This is all I eat. And when I do that, I know that that is something I have very strictly followed, Srividya. That is something which earlier I used to go in for a second helping. Today I resist.
Mm.
I do not go in for a second helping at all for when I have lunch. So I have a plate and I have all these cups. So this is my way of limiting the food that I have to have. But I have everything, including raita. I'll make different kinds of raita. And there'll be raita. Or today I made avial. So I did have avial, 1 cup of avial, and then I have 1 cup of keera. So these things I incorporate every day. So அப்படி இருக்கும்போது my entire thing, and the plate looks nice.
So mindful eating has helped you really relish the food that you're eating. It's very important to you. Again, you're someone who really enjoys eating, and that has helped you not come from a space of deprivation or restriction, but allowing you to really relish everything. And meal plating skills, focusing on better nutrition onto your plate, that has helped you feel satisfied with what you're eating. Again, and resisting a second helping is not because you're consciously avoiding, but because you're satisfied with what you're eating, you don't feel the need to go in for a second helping. Yeah. Right, Mythili? So your relationship with food is in a very nice place today. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm very happy about it.
So relationship with your body, Mythili, if you can share. I know you touched upon, how weight loss is not the most important thing. It's about how you enjoy the food that you're eating also. But how can you share how all of these skills have helped you heal your relationship with your body?
Yeah. Firstly, today I'm not too bothered about the fact that okay, I'm a size XL or I'm a size L or whatever. That doesn't matter to me at all. It used to earlier. Oh my God, I'm still an XL. What do I do and all that? But going forward, I felt that I have to be fit, number one. And secondly, I need to see to it that, these little ailments don't bother me. See, as I grow, like I said, I just crossed 60. So obviously, some pains in the bones, all these things must show up sometimes, excessive exercises or whatever. But I've learned to take it in my stride. I just sort of heal that. For example, if I have too much of a knee pain or something, then I stop exercises the other day and give my body that rest, give my muscles that rest, so that it's like pampering your body, saying, okay, today you can take rest, kind of a thing. So believe me, I started talking to my body. So that I don't know whether that has helped, but I feel that whenever I talk to my body or pat myself saying, okay, good job, or things like that, it's not like satisfying your ego. It's somewhere down the line you feel that your body is also responding to you in a very nice way. So this is how I have developed a relationship towards it. Like when I go to do Zumba, I cannot jump like these 26-year-olds or 30-year-olds, but I still move. And if what my Zumba instructor says you're doing much better than many 20-year-olds, and see, that's another compliment I get, and I'm very happy about it. That okay, fine, I'm touch wood, God's grace, and I'm still able to do Zumba. So this is the kind of, in very simple words, I feel that your body responds if you're very kind to it. Don't overdo it, or don't feel bad that certain portions are, like for example your tummy, or working to keep it fit is one thing, but when you're not able to do something, see to it that you at least keep it in that position and not increase. So very funny. I feel very funny about it, the way I treat my body today. But I feel happy. Actually, at the end of it, I feel that I'm happy. And once I'm happy, I do the right things.
Okay, fantastic, Mythili, that you've got yourself to that space with your body. And I think the crux of it is creating that positive internal environment. right?
Yes.
Being very kind to yourself, being very compassionate to your body, and reinventing the way you look at health. It's not weight loss.
Yes.
That means healthy, right? Healthy
Yes.
means being fit, being, not having too many aches and pains, especially at your age, right? And focusing on active movement, leading an active lifestyle, and eating nourishing foods to satisfy your palate and your soul and your body, right? All of these are very important to you, and that
Yes.
is what health means to you. So you've kind of been able to reinvent all of that, and most importantly, talking to your body, you're able to see how it responds to you, right? And that was important to you, Mythili, right?
Yes, to me, yes.
Super. So, how about sleep, Mythili? We worked on sleep habits also. So, where are you today with that?
For a long time, my sleep, what you call the cycle, didn't fall into place. But like I said, I think it's starting to fall into place one by one, and sleep is the last. Everything else fell into place. Sleep is the last. For the last 1 month, I've been sleeping really well. So for me, like I told you earlier, I always sleep off at 8:30. 8:30 is my sleeping time. Between 8:30 and 9, I see to it that I retire and I go to sleep. And yeah, I have stopped doing all those crosswords and all that in the night, because as we discussed that, that thing was affecting my brain was active throughout and I couldn't sleep. So I've stopped that. In fact, I've stopped watching TV in the night for the last 6 months. I never watch TV in the night. And I
Oh,
do.
really difficult habit to get out of.
Yeah, that's one. Thirdly, I have stopped discussing anything that would rattle your brain in the night. It's my personal decision. I told my husband, if there's anything that's going to disturb me, you have to hold it till morning. See, these are the things, which I feel that little steps that I have taken to see that I get a peaceful sleep. I tell my sister, I tell everyone, there is anything disturbing that you're going to tell me. And if it's not urgent, please don't call me in the night to do it. Somewhere subconsciously you get disturbed, and then you can't sleep. So I tell them sleep has become very important to me now, because as it is, I have only 6 hours of sleep. I don't have more than that. I sleep at 9 and I wake up at 4:30. So I don't have that much, like 8 hours or something. I don't think I'm successfully sleeping for 8 hours, because I cannot sleep. And the Mari, that body cycle has become like that. So that 6 hours at least, I need peaceful sleep. So these little things I tell my daughter, I tell my son, unless it's absolutely urgent, please don't call me in the night. Call me any time before 8. So, fortunately for me, they also follow. And I tell my husband also, don't tell me anything that's disturbing in the night. It's a conscious decision. And now, yes, it's all falling into place. I wake up only once to use the restroom. After that, I'm back to sleep.
Wow, really amazing to hear this, Mythili. I know it was your Achilles heel, Lilia. Romba naal we were working on it little by little. And so glad how all of these strategies have come together to help you get that good sleep. And again, when you're sleeping well, everything functions really well. Your recovery, your stress management skills. So talking about stress management skills, how are they working for you, Mythili?
90% I'm able to. I still have some stress somewhere there, but see, again, they become they don't blow out of proportion. See, that is something I've learned to control. That okay, I have stress, then yes, I'll deal with it. Just breathing exercises have helped. In the beginning, I used to do this breathing exercises with that. Somewhere down the line, I sort of controlled it, and I sort of found that no point in blurting out to everything. So I just take, and my, oh, very silly, but I just swallow. So, so these, it helps. It helps. You don't say the wrong things. Take a minute to swallow. So I tell my daughter also, if you're angry at something, just take a minute to swallow. I'm very sure the entire feeling will pass. Even if you feel that this has not passed, just get out of that room. So these are little things. You get out of the room or shut yourself in the bathroom. If you don't have if you don't have an extra room, just shut yourself in the bathroom for a while. It works, Srividya. It works. You come out calmer.
Removing yourself from the environment, right? And really practicing the pause and the breathing, that has really helped you.
Yourself from the environment is a very powerful tool I have found, that you just get away from that place and without disturbing another person's ego, you just have to slowly walk away from that place. In the art, I have learned now to just
Nice.
appear, okay, and then walk away, and then after about half an hour, come back to the point and say, this is the way you could have said that.
Wow, really amazing.
90%
Mastering it.
able to do it.
See, we are all human, Mythili. We all go through ups and downs. What you're saying is the ups are a lot more than it used to be.
Yes, compared to what I was 6 months back.
Super. So, Mythili, எல்லா ஸ்கில்ஸும் நம்ம incorporate பண்ணியாச்சு. Whatever that helps you become independent, that helps you stay in control of your environment, your thoughts, your emotions. How sustainable does it feel for you?
If you want to give myself anything out of 10, I would say 8.5 to 9 today, because like I always keep saying, there's always this chance of improving. So I will never give myself a 10. I will always feel that I'm not that I'm happy with a 9, but I would say that I would want to get to 10. So this sort of pushes me forward to do, okay, fine, and the 10% to remove panano, and the 5 and the 10% of first 5% and then slowly go to it. So I will always rate myself 8.5 to 9 where all this is concerned. And I think I was at 2 or something when I started, 2.5. 8.5 is a big thing for me today, and I feel good that I'm able to rate myself very honestly that yes, it's 8.5 to 9.
Wow. Appreciate your honesty and openness always, Mythili. 8.5 to 9, because you want to give that little bit of a room for improvement always. And
Yes.
your commitment has been super amazing, because of which you've been able to get to this space, Mythili. Because all of the challenges that you were going through were not easy ones to handle, right?
Yes.
But we just chipped away at it little by little over time. And today, as you look back, I'm sure it's awe-inspiring for you to look back and see your transformation, Mythili.
Today I'm a chiseled woman. Yeah, I won't say like this, but at least.
Nice. So, I mean, you're feeling ready to graduate, Mythili?
Yes, I'm very happy. And thank you so much for all this that has happened between us. And I'm happy that I was able to open out to you, because I'm not a kind of person who will open out, but if I speak, I will speak everything from my heart. And honestly, I would discuss with people, because it's again in my own interest. I'm not going to be, no point in hiding even that 1% of stuff there, because then it's only going to be harming you. If you join something for your own improvement, then might as well be open about it.
Really appreciate that open communication, Mythili. Again, it's a two-way street, right? I give my hand completely, and then when the other side also, we get two hands in, we can definitely make this happen. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Vidya.